we're an arboretum, so we've got lots of different trees, lots of unusual trees here too, and people can come and they can see what trees they could grow in their yard, because all of this is not watered. So if the trees are out here and growing, you could do that at home too. We wanted to do a project with the Audubon Society, and so we thought, well, what's something that the Audubon Society would, you know, do? And we always wanted more birds here, so we thought, wouldn't it be neat to have bluebirds brought to the gardens? And we've got a lot of open spaces, which is what bluebirds like. And so we worked with them, and they installed and they purchased the bluebird boxes. And you can see, I think we have 7 of them, and they came out and monitored them and cleaned out house sparrow nests and wasp nests that were growing in them, so that the bluebirds could come into a nice new box. But it takes a while for them to come.
I mean, they're gorgeous birds. They're beautiful songbirds, and you a lot of times see them kind of in some open areas like this, and they are kind of making somewhat of a resurgence as people put out the bluebird boxes and we draw them back in, because they really declined with kind of urbanization and things like that. You know, a lot of times I see them like in open places like this. Like most recently I saw some Wednesday at Mitch Park in Edmond, and they're actually thriving there. We saw at least 8 of them. 1 or 2 of them looked like they could have been a little bit younger. They're younger females, and there were several males as well.
So are you hoping that they'll come back here in Will Rogers Gardens in this part of Oklahoma City?
I am. I would love to have them this close to my house, because I live locally in this area. So to go somewhere to Mitch Park, where it's a little bit of a drive, it's like 30 minutes, to have them like 10 minutes away from my house would be an absolute treat.
What are the advantages or benefits of bluebirds?
Bluebirds feed on insects, so they help keep the insect populations down, a lot of the pests. And I mean, to me, whenever I see them, they make me happy, so there's a mental benefit to that as well. They're not endangered, but they're certainly not, I don't think, there's not as many of them as there used to be. Like I said, they are making a comeback, so they're not as uncommon. They're becoming more and more common in different places where people, you know, attract them with bluebird houses, and, you know, feeding them like dried mealworms or suet with mealworms in them, things that really attract them and will bring them in. And
anyone could do this at their backyard or something? Tell me about the bird house here that is a good one for a bluebird, and hopefully we'll be back to see some here sometime.
So this one's good because it has this big tall pole, and it's a slippery pole, so like predators can't climb into the nest box. And it also looks out into this open area, which is very prime because bluebirds love the open areas to fly around and hunt for their insects. And so that's kind of really why it's such a prime location.
Well, that's when citizens and parks come together, and utilities, and they look at areas like along roadways, boulevards, drainage areas, and they start creating habitat that would attract bluebirds. And if the bluebirds come, other birds will come, and it'll bring them into these fragmented parks that have, you know, just kind of become isolated from migration trails and different trails. And it takes a while for the bluebirds to find these places, you know, because they've got other places they're looking at. And we're hoping to, you know, someday do something like that. But for now, we're just trying to put the bluebird houses and the food up here in the park.